Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to the Adobe XD Daily Creative Challenge. I'm your host, Andrea Eppy. So welcome, everyone. Happy Wednesday. We're halfway through the week, and I hope you guys are having a wonderful week. So today is day 7 of our 2-week challenge. So we only have a few more days left. Very bittersweet, but I'm excited because I have another fun challenge for you guys today. Welcome, everyone's filing into the chat. Hey Sam, welcome back. Anuya, we've got Henry, Monica, Rosie, Jessica. Awesome. As always, if you guys have any questions about anything I'm doing, just let me know in that chat and I will reply to you. So I'll go ahead and get started. Let's hop on over to Behance. And as always, if you want to follow along with me, this is behance.net/challenge/XD, and then we can just see what today's challenge is. So of course, go ahead and register with this big blue button if you have not already, and we can scroll on down here. And we have been very busy. These were all of the challenges that we completed last week, so awesome job. You guys have been doing a really good job of sharing on Discord and Behance, so thank you so much for doing that. And let's see, yesterday we did that reading tracker. That was very fun with the 3D transform. And today, again, keeping in the spirit of things that you might do for your New Year's resolutions, today we're going to do a budgeting app. So I want you guys to design a budgeting app that tracks and manages your expenses. So create a graph that moves when the budget is adjusted using Auto-Animate. So this one is maybe a little bit easier than some of the other ones. So if you're waiting to see one that was a little easier, this is definitely the day to do it. So go ahead, and if you want to download the starter file, just hit that Get Started button and that will download for you right there. And then this is what that looks like. Let me pull it up. Sorry, it looks like this. This is the starter file, and this is the design we're gonna make today. So let me give you a little sneak preview so you have some idea while we're designing. Get this out of the way. So something like this, something where you see some sort of graph up here. I did, a line chart, but if you want to do a pie graph or a pie chart, line bar pie chart, anyway, whatever, I'm rambling. So I'll show you how to do both, but basically show some transactions down here, show your graph up here. Maybe when you click it, you see some new transactions kind of roll down, and then we see a little CTA button up there, or a little message up here, and you can close out of it if you want. And then we see Auto-Animate. We see those lines kind of moving and popping up. But like I mentioned, if you want to do a circular pie chart, that would be fine too. So that is what we're going to make. But let's hop back here because I just want to go through a few more things. So as always, you can always go back and rewatch any of these videos if you want to. If you're stuck on a certain part or something, just go back and rewatch. And of course, I'm live every day at 2 p.m. Pacific. And then if you do want feedback on your work, definitely be sure to share it over here on Discord. So you can either join our Discord community just by clicking this link right here, and it'll ask you to create a username. Or we've got this URL up here, so bit.ly/XD Discord. That is how you can find it. But this is Discord. So check out the current challenge channel right here. Check out what everyone else is creating. And this is where we give you feedback. So we've got several different mentors. And that's a cool little animation, kind of the total 360 there. That was awesome. So these were the ones from yesterday. Awesome. We have that 180-degree flip there. Ooh. I love that little kind of swivel as you drag it along. Very nice. So we'll look at a few of these towards the end of the stream then. So let's hop back into XD and we can get started on our design. Okay, so as I mentioned, for that graph, I'm going to be using Auto-Animate, which is over here in our prototype tab. So just hit that tab up there, and it's grayed out right now, but it will be under action right here, under action, and then this little type drop down. So that's where you'll find Auto-Animate. So, I mean, there are literally thousands and thousands of examples out there of, you know, expense, budgeting sort of related apps. So I'm sure you have no problem finding inspiration, but just wanted to pull some just to show you an example of like, this is kind of what we're going to do today. Or you can do something more circular like this, and I'll show you how to do that as well. But yeah, tons out there. So try to make yours a little bit more unique, maybe, you know. Resource booklet, as always. You can hop through some of those tabs over here. And the tip of today is really just for something like this sort of app. We're doing a budgeting app, and, you know, data, figuring out all of your expenses. There's a lot of data there, basically. And so drawing the user's attention to something, one main thing on the page that's very visual, maybe has some animation, that helps just give them a overview and makes things a little bit less confusing. So it's good to add just little like pleasant, joyful animations like this. So yeah, I am going to start just at the very top. So let's add our menu up at the top left, and then top right, I will add this profile image. And I already showed you guys how to use that plugin. Oop, don't know if you can see. So my plugins over here, I used UI faces for this, but I did that yesterday, so I'm not gonna go through it all again. And then let's add our title or our header. We'll just say expenses, short and sweet, and make sure that's left aligned over here. We're left aligned, that looks good. And before I get too like into the weeds with all of the just data and everything, I'm just gonna do like a super bare kind of layout of the different areas. So we've got our top menu up here. I want a card right here for the graph. And then down here, I want all of the expenses. So just to be able to sort of scroll through those transactions at the bottom. So I think it's helpful to just kind of, even if it's just, you know, very bare rectangles, just laying it out before you start getting in there and making all the lines, making all the icons and everything. It's usually helpful to do that, aka a wireframe. Oh yes, welcome, welcome everyone that's just joining. Cornell, awesome. Yeah. Okay, so for this one, I am going to do a drop shadow. So over here, again, I usually, bring up that blur to like 15 or so. And I'm going to add, let's see, just so it stands out a little bit from the background, I'm gonna add another gradient. I've been really into gradients this week. Sorry if I've been doing like way too many of them, but I don't know, I'm just on a gradient kick, bringing it back, you know. So this one I already had saved over here, just a white to a light subtle pink to a white. Since I didn't really want it to be up here, I wanted this portion to be white. And then the shadow, I'll make it the same sort of pink color, but then make it a little bit darker. And bring down that opacity. Okay. So still pretty subtle, but yeah. All right, down here, actually what I'm gonna do, just so we can keep the same sort of drop shadow, I'm gonna copy and paste that one, and then just drag this down here, so it's exactly the same style. And then for this will be sort of like an area that we can drag up and down, and if you wanted to animate this part as well, you could. But I'm gonna add an arrow that indicates like, hey, you can scroll this part down to see other things. And then maybe a search bar. I've already got this kind of created, so we'll add that there, search transactions. And then below that we can add all of our transactions, of course. So I've got some emojis. Got a little apple emoji, maybe for like groceries or something. Let's add the text first, actually. So I'll say groceries. And this part's important because we want to, I'm just going to do 5 or so to show on my graph to keep it kind of simple. But definitely make your transactions different categories so that you can show different categories up here. So let's see. we'll say, where were the groceries from? Like Whole Foods or whatever. This, let's make a little bit smaller. Actually, let's make this. Okay, bring this down a bit so we have some contrast. And then just bring that right there. Okay, so behind this little icon, I'm just gonna add a circle so we have some just delineation between each of these. And I'll make this a gray with another kind of off gray border. Bring this up to 2 and then just send that to back. Oh, and I forgot to mention, the way that I did this little apple sort of drop shadow, sometimes I have been doing this and it's kind of a neat little trick. So you go in here and I've just got my regular icon. Sometimes I get these from emojipedia.com, which is just like any emoji. They have like Google Pixel emojis, they have Apple emojis, of course, and just a bunch of other types. And then this is just a copy of that apple, but I gave it an object blur. So if you bring it down to 0, you'll see it's still the apple, but just giving it a little bit of an object blur keeps all of the same colors, but just gives it that super nice subtle little shadow there. So that's how I did that. And of course we need the price. So that's what we're looking at for all of these, maybe 65, and let's make sure this is right aligned over here. And then I want to keep this pretty simple. I don't want to add like too many details. You could add like date if you wanted or something like that, but I'm gonna add just a little plus icon, and that way users can see more if it like drops down or something if they wanted to. Let's bring this over, and then the easy part is we can really just do a repeat grid for all of these. So let's group all those together and come over here to repeat grid, and we'll just drag this down. I'll do it, let's see, I think that's a good amount. And then of course you'd want to come in here and change these. So let's just drag some more of our emojis over here. Let's see, Henry asked, what XD feature are we working in today? Yep, Auto-Animate, that is correct, Laura. Auto-Animate, one of my faves. Okay, so this one can be mortgage, fun stuff. Oh, by the way, I know I mentioned last week that we put an offer on a house. If anyone was wondering, we did not get it, so we don't have a mortgage yet, still renting. So we'll say house, that's the category. This one could be like shopping, clothing, shopping, what else? Pet stuff. So this one could be Petco. Oh, I guess this would be Target since that's the store. And this would be pet food. And we'll just do 2 more. Let me drag this down so I can see it. Just for a second. Toilet paper, of course. This, again, we can say Target, I guess. This would be toiletries. And our last one can be the car. For car payment, car insurance, whatever. Car insurance. And car store? I don't know. Wherever that would be. Okay. So let's bring this back up. And then if you wanted to be able to scroll through all of those, let's group those together. Command G to group. And then if you want to come over here to your scroll options, just hit this middle one and that'll be your vertical scroll. So you can choose where you want the top of that to be. So then when you preview, let's hop into the prototype tab and just make sure this one is, oop, there's something up there. This one is on home. And then if you preview it, you can just scroll through all of those. Don't have to do that, but just an extra little thing if you want to. Okay, so now we can get into our actual graph since we have all of our transactions. So all I'm gonna do is let's take a line And we'll just do a repeat grid on this. And I'm gonna give it the same color as these icons down here. So I'm just using that eyedropper tool over here. And then I'll round those edges just a touch. I think I could bring this down a little bit. I don't want this to be, you know, the first thing you see. And then let's come up here again to repeat grid and drag this down. Not too many, maybe like that. Okay, so that looks good. And then we can just make lines for each of our categories. So what I'm gonna do, actually, I'll just drag them from over here. Drag all these out again. And then just kind of, put them on the bottom down here. Kind of try to line them up a bit. There we go. I'm sure in real life you would have a lot more categories than this, but this is just an example. Okay, someone had a question. Laura asked, where do you get the emojis from? Do you download them or have them in the system? So I go to, it's just called emojipedia.com, and literally you can just copy and paste them. They have like a whole list of like all of the emojis that you would see on your phone. So that's where I get them from. Yes, that's correct. Okay, cool. These, I kind of want these to be a little bit smaller. So let's actually group all of these together so I can do that at once. Some of those aren't doing that correctly. That's okay, I'll just do it by hand. Sometimes I found with components, they don't scale like exactly how you want them to. You just have to, I'll just have to ungroup this and then regroup it, and then it'll scale properly. So if you ever have that issue, just ungroup the component and just kind of do it by hand. Ungroup, group it together again. And I couldn't tell you why it does that, but there's usually always a workaround. Okay, so we've got our tiny little icons there. Maybe a little bit too tiny, but I think it's fine. And now what I want to do is add those lines. So let's go ahead and use the rectangle tool. And I'll just, actually you want to start on this artboard, you want to keep them kind of low since with Auto-Animate we're gonna drag them up. So let's just round those. I need to zoom in a bit. Round those corners, and I'm just going to give this a little bit of a linear gradient. So, and I kind of want to match each of the colors. So I'm just clicking on each of these little circles here. So this one we can start with like maybe the brown to more of the tan. Maybe I'll bring this down just a little bit more. Okay. And then I'll give this a drop shadow again, because why not? A little bit more of a pink. Okay. And then all I need to do is just copy and paste this and kind of drag these down a bit. And what I'm gonna do next is my little trick that you guys always see me doing, use my blending mode. So just add another rectangle on top of those and use the eyedropper tool, and then come over here to the blending modes and you can change the color. Make this a gray. This one can be green. Ooh, that's a bright green. You could adjust that though, but I'm not gonna spend too much time on the colors. And then the cat, copy and paste that. This can be that yellow. And then one more is the pink. Just drag that over. And I'm holding down shift while I'm dragging, so that's how it stays on the same sort of plane there. And let's make this pink. Okay, so we've got our graph, and let's just group all of that together so it doesn't kind of move anywhere we don't want it to while we're going to the next artboard. All right, so now what I want to do is copy everything on this artboard and then just paste it on the next one. And I'm not going to deal with the notification because I'm not going to. But all you want to do, it's very, very easy. Just come over here and double click in, and then you can raise these a bit. And you might need to move your front layer out of the way a little bit, so you can move it up and then move that color layer back and bring it up again with this one. We'll bring that up a bit. And you could have just grouped these as well too. That probably would have been the smarter thing to do. Bring that up as well. If I had a little bit more time, I would probably spend a little bit more time on the colors, since I'm not loving this kind of washed out color right here. But yeah, it's fine. Okay, so we brought those up all manually, and then we just need to come into our prototype tab over here and select whatever you want. Ideally, this would just be a time trigger, so it just happens automatically. Just to show you though, I'm gonna make this a tap trigger. So if you want time, just select the whole artboard and drag it over instead of just one element. Otherwise you won't be able to find it. So under trigger, I'm choosing tap, and then for the action, we can choose Auto-Animate. And just so it's not too fast so we can even see it, I'm gonna change the duration to about 0.8 seconds. So let's go ahead and preview this. And get that out of the way. Okay. Oh, it's so small. There we go. So we've got our little animation. And then I want to really quickly show you, I don't necessarily have a design for the pie chart, but if you did want to do it that way, I want to show you how to do that as well. So basically, you would just have your circle here, and then you would want to make a few more shapes. Like let's say this one is green. And we could make this, give this a fill, and then come over here to your pathfinders and just choose, kind of mess around with those. Sometimes it's not exactly what you want. And basically all you would do, you copy and paste this to show you. All you do from this artboard to the next is come in here and then just adjust, need to get in a little bit closer. Adjust that pen tool to wherever you want. You might need to add a few more points. Just adjust it up so it's a little bit larger. And then you'd come back here, come back into the prototype tab, and same thing, just drag that trigger over, and this would be a tap trigger as well as Auto-Animate. So we can preview that. Oh, I think that did not turn out right. I think that was because I added another point. So let me just get rid of that other point. And I'll just drag it over. Okay, so this one should work. Prototype, tap, Auto-Animate. All right, there we go. That one worked a little bit better. So that is how you would do the pie chart if you wanted to. The lines are a little bit easier, so if you're wondering which one you want to focus on and you're not sure, maybe you're starting out, start with the lines, and if you want to give yourself more of a challenge, try the circle pie chart. So yeah, that is how we create today's daily creative challenge. Let's go ahead and save, and then we can look at some of you guys' work. So let's hop over to, first on Behance. I always forget this, but if you do want to share your work, make sure you go into edit, and then when you're saving or when you're going to share your project, go over to settings, and under the project tags, add that keyword XD daily challenge, and that way I can find your work and give you feedback. And you can possibly be featured in our special gallery as well. So yes, check in the chat. Awesome. Okay. All right, so now I'm checking Behance, that keyword XD daily challenge, and I already have a few pulled up. So this was the one from yesterday. This was by Kelly Boyer, the reading app. So yesterday we focused on the book and using 3D transform to kind of rotate that around from like front to back, and also to change the pages. So let's take a look. Oh, I missed it. Nice. That looks awesome. We've got a little scroll action there. And we've got our 3D transform with the pages. And you went a step further into the settings. Oh, cool. Dark mode. I love it. That's awesome. So clean. Great job, Kelly. Let's take a look at another one. This is Ilham. Reading. This is the reading one again. Oh, it has some sound, I think. Okay. You bring this to the beginning. Oh, that's cool. You made your own book. You're the author. Very cool. And then we've got the 3D transform with those pages. Very cool. That looks awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And oh, we're about out of time. Maybe one more, Anna. I just love looking at these. And if I did not get to yours, just make sure you put it into Discord in that current challenge channel, and I'll take a look at it after the stream. Awesome. Well, thank you guys all so much for sharing those. Don't go anywhere, because in about 5 minutes we've got the draw along with Kyle Webster. And thank you guys all so much for watching. I will see you again tomorrow at 2 p.m. Pacific. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.